So I'm going to start with the newsletter, see what's happening. But I do have an announcement to make. This came from Chef Robin, of course, Mr. Marcus. So those of you guys who are online, this is your last kitchen block that is going to be online. If you do not live near or close to campus, you may contact Ms. Shelley or Chef Robin, so you may do a gen ed class next block. Because like I said, this is your last kitchen block that's going to be online. After this block right here, all the remaining kitchen blocks will be on ground. So Chef Robin said Mr. Marcus has been emailing you guys since February, all the students who are online about the changes coming along the way. So we've gone through all that every Monday about checking your school email. This is it, guys. So those of you guys who are online, I believe you may have farm to table class for your last kitchen block. That is going to be on grounds. There's no more online. Okay. So just FYI. Okay. So just you know, she wanted me to tell you guys all that so you guys can get ready for your next kitchen block because it won't be online. Got it? All right. Let's go see what's going on the newsletter. All right, let's check it out. First things first. Like I said, we got a lot of ground to cover, guys. A lot of ground to cover, okay? Let me adjust the screen here a little bit. All right. So what is happening, okay, on the newsletter? The soccer team that is here in Austin now, they're hiring. Opening date is June 12th, and they want you to be there. So Austin, the professional soccer team, looking for 10 students who work side by side with local chefs and represent Escoffier. Starting pay is $15 an hour, $15 an hour. Contact is Ann Derrick to apply. Spots are limited. So apply as soon as you can if you're interested for the professional soccer team that is here in Austin, okay? What else? Don't forget, this Saturday, we have class this Saturday, okay? We talked about it last week on the newsletter. So just FYI, Saturday, we have class, okay? We didn't have class yesterday, but we do have Saturday. Be aware of that, okay? We'll remind you guys on Friday too, okay? What else? Again, that's your 2021 holiday calendar, which we've been talking since day one. Juneteenth, there's no class. June 28th to July 2nd, that's our summer break. August 13th, no school. Okay, we have our in-service meeting. September 6th, Labor Day. You guys should be on externship by that time, I hope. Okay. What else? Special days for June 1st to the 6th. June 1st, National Olive Day. June 2nd, National Fish and Chip Day. June 3rd, National Egg Day. Remember egg cookery? June 1. June 4th, National Cheese Day, and it's the first Friday in June. Make it a National Donut Day. Yes, Round Rock Donuts are my fave. I don't care for Dunkin'. I don't care for Krispy Kreme or Daylight. June 5th, National Gingerbread Day. June 6th, National Applesauce Day. Okay, so all those happenings in the first week of June. Reminder, guys, all you guys on hybrid, Joe, Annika, Carlos, Ileana, Elijah, Michael, Beyonce, Sergio, and Jomar. We're going back to normal. Jars and meat cups are used for prep and food storage here at school. Okay, not to take home anymore. Okay, this is the last block that we're going to be doing the packaging stuff for you guys to take home. Okay. If you do not have a water bottle, okay, bring one because those cups are going to go away. Okay, those cups that you saw on the water station going to go away. I always tell you guys, if you guys can afford a smartphone, you guys can afford a Dollar General water bottle to bring to school. Okay, those cups are going away. Jars of these cups, not for drinking anymore. Are taking food home, except the ones that we have when they're cooler that have your product. Okay. What else? And again, if you want to take some food home, you need to bring your own plastic containers. Okay. Or wrap it in foil or plastic wrap on campus. Okay, because all that stuff is going to go away, guys. Okay, it's going to go away. And again, bring your own cups to drink water. So there'll be no more cups available, guys. All right. You asked me for a cup. I'm sorry. I'll bring my own water cup, my own water bottle. Okay. Reminder on hybrid classes. Don't forget every single day, Tuesday through Friday, do your daily wellness check at the stations. Mask are required, mandatory. Must be on time and a proper uniform. You guys know that by heart by now. Okay, so keep on that. Okay. Don't forget uniform policy. No hat, no entry, no apron, no entry. Of course, right? And no production sheet, no entry. Okay. And again, check your emails coming from Chef Robin. Okay. We just went over the online is going to go away as of next block. So she'll be checking your emails all this time. Okay. If you don't have portal issues, you shouldn't have portal issues. You should be looking at your grade every single day. Okay. If you do have portal issues, you can't get to it, that's who to contact, Zendesk. That's the email to go to. Okay. And again, tutoring is available. You guys, if you need some tutoring, there it is for you guys on your website, on your homepage. Also, you need to talk to somebody. There it is. Okay. Talk Campus. It's an app that you download on your phone, and you can talk to somebody 24/7. Again, Hulu is offering a special, $1.99 a month if you're a college student, sign up. Okay. If you have changed address or phone number, that's the link that you need to go and update your information. Okay. Some local resources if you need assistance. Again, we go that every single week. Okay. Again, into school departments, who to contact for certain issues. Okay. Following CDC guidelines. Again, just wash your hands. Okay. Key facts about COVID-19 vaccination. I got my second shot already, so I got another layer just in case. I don't want to get sick. City of Boston, again, that's the number. You want to set up your appointment for a COVID-19 shot. How to use bleach as a disinfectant. Is that there? No messages. Okay. Chef's Talk Series, June 8th, 3:15. Again, that's our time. Okay. But anyways, academics and career services are excited for the next Chef's Talk Series with Chef Monica Cobb. That's right, like the Cobb salad. Chef Monica, owner of Monica's in Beaumont, is a native Texan who has traveled the world to learn about food and experience the joy of cooking, eating, and sharing her knowledge. Please join us on Tuesday, June 8th at 3:15 to hear her fondest private chef jobs. Food styling for commercials to opening Le Posh on River Steamboat on the River Nile in Cairo, Egypt. Okay, that's who. What else? Featured employer, Make It Sweet. Okay, located at 9070 Research Boulevard. Okay, in Austin, Make It Sweet is hiring 2 part-time positions as a sales and as a classroom assistant. Okay. What else? It's a retail supply source for baking supplies, products, and accessories. Staff and professionals to assist you to replace the place to take beginner, advanced, and cake decorating classes. Okay. Also hiring Fairmont Austin, 101 Red River Street, has several opportunities available plus competitive wages. Hilton Garden, Austin Domain. Jason Hinojosa is executive chef. And that's who you to contact. Okay. Also, Second Bar and Kitchen in Austin Bergstrom Airport is hiring as well too. I believe that's run by Chef David Bull. Okay. What else? Quote of the week: 6 important guidelines in life. When you're alone, mind your thoughts. When you are with friends, mind your tongue. When you're angry, mind your temper. When you are with a group, mind your behavior. When you're in trouble, mind your emotions. When you're being blessed, mind your ego. Okay. Just for fun, bats locate the food using sound. Marco. Wow, you guys are sleeping.
Hello.
There you go. Thank you. Trivia, food for thought. Of all the artists that share their name exactly with food stuff, who has sold the most records? Anyone?
Ice Cube. Red Hot Chili Peppers.
We got Ask You, Red Hot Chili Peppers. Anyone else? Nope. You go back. Ask You, Red Hot Chili Peppers. Anyone else?
Yeah, I say Ice Cube too.
Ice Cube.
I got 3 for Ask You, 1 for Red Hot Chili Peppers. Anyone else? No? All right. The majority of you guys picked Ask You. He has a lot of records, man. He has a lot of records. Okay, a lot of records. He's got a lot of tracks, man. Dating back to world-class record crew before they became NWA. Okay. All right, so of all the artists that share their name exactly with Foodstuff, who has sold the most records? You guys said one, you guys said Red Hot Chili Peppers. The rest of you guys said Ice Cube. All right. Smashing Pumpkins, Meatloaf, or Salt and Pepper. Here we go. Red Hot Chili Peppers. Won only marginally over Meatloaf. Ask You didn't make it there. Okay. So Red Hot Chili Peppers above Meatloaf. Okay. That is your newsletter for today. Any thoughts? Before we begin today with this week's whatchamacallit, regions. All right. So tomorrow, guys, we are going to cook the cuisine from Argentina, Chile, and Brazil, I believe. Okay. Land of the carnivores. No vegans. So if you do travel, be aware, okay, the veganism is probably not as it is here in the States, okay? So let's take a look at a brief history of all those 3 countries that we're going to be exploring the cuisine, okay? Little history, Brazil. They can dance, though. As a consequence of 3 centuries, colonization of the Portuguese Empire, the core Brazilian cultures is derived from the culture of Portugal. The numerous Portuguese inheritance include the language, predominant religion, and the colonial architectural styles. These aspects, however, were influenced by the African indigenous American traditions, as well as those from the Western European countries. Some aspects of Brazilian culture are contributed to Italian, German, and other European immigrants. Amerindian people in Africa play a large role in the formation of Brazilian language, cuisine, music, dance, and religion. Brazilian cuisine varies greatly by region. This diversity reflects the country's mix of natives and immigrants. This has created a national cooking style marked by the preservation of regional differences. Since the colonial period, the feijoada has been the country's national dish. And tell you guys what, that feijoada, oh man, forget about your lumberjack breakfast at your local diner. Luis de Camara Cascudo wrote that having been revised and adapted in each region of the country, it is no longer just a dish, but has become a complete food. Rice and beans also present in feijoada and considered a basic Brazilian tables. It's highly regarded as a healthy because it contains almost all amino acids, fibers, and starches needed for basic human nutrition. Aside from the non-hemp iron present in beans, best absorbed when consumed together with vitamin C, richly present in bell peppers, tomatoes, oranges, and acerola, for example. If you visit Rio for a few days and you're interested in eating some of the typical dishes, one of the items that should be near the top of your list is feijoada. Again, we'll take a look at it in a few minutes. It's a rich, heavy stew, black beans, carne seca, linguiça, sausage, and various cuts of pork. Like I said, forget about your lumberjack at your local diner, okay? It also resembles various cuts of pork, unlike the French cassoulet, which is one of my favorites. Traditionally, it's served with rice, torresmo, pork scratchlings, pork rind, farofa, orange slices, and couve. Couve is a shredded green vegetable. You can see the top of the plate, and we'll take a look at that picture again. Okay. Root veggies such as cassava, locally known as mandioca, apim, or macaxera, along with their names, yams, and fruit like acai. Do you guys know what acai is? A-C-A-I? What is it?
No, I don't.
It's a berry. I thought it was pronounced acai, or that's how like we would pronounce it all the time, and we would have it as like, bowls. They were really good.
Yes, acai, acai. So if you buy the frozen berries for your smoothies at Sam's, H-E-B, maybe Walmart, they'll have a little packet inside the flores of blueberries with a acai puree. It's one of the superfoods. Give you energy. It has a lot of antioxidants. It's really, really great for you. Okay. National beverage coffee, while acacha is Brazil's native liqueur. Cachaca is distilled from sugarcane and is the main ingredient of the national cocktail capiraham. Cheese buns, pão de queijo, and salgadinhos such as pastéis, cocingas, and also pirog in Polish cuisine, and kibbeh from Arabic cuisine are common finger food items where the couscous branco meal tapioca is a popular dessert. Okay, aside. Here's the top 10 Brazilian foods. This is what I was telling you. The feijoada, black bean stew with various types of beef and sausage. And that's the green stuff on top of it. Okay, again, it's like, forget about your lumberjack breakfast at the local diner. This is it, guys. This is like having Thanksgiving breakfast, okay? Cocingas, little raindrops of fried goodness, usually filled with chicken and very creamy cheese called catupiry, okay? Delicious too, and deep fried. Pão de queijo, one of my favorites, made with tapioca flour. The recipe's in the portal if somebody wants to try it. Little rolls of bread and cheese baked into it. Oh man, they're so good. They're so elastic and so, oh yeah. Farofa, fried cassava flour. It can include egg, bacon, or other add-ons, usually sprinkled over rice and beans. Acai, there you go. That's what it looks like, acai or acai. Superfood berry used to make fruit bowls or smoothies. Pro tip, blend with bananas and strawberries, top with granola and honey. I used to make it in the morning with oatmeal. Again, oatmeal is another superfood. It keeps you full a little bit longer. Okay, that's what it looks like, acai. Okay. Bolingo de chuva, little balls of glorious fried dough sprinkled with sugar and cinnamon. Their take on churros. Remember churros? We made them a couple days ago. Okay. Beijinho de coco, coconut truffles. Okay. Vatapa, spicy cream fish and shrimp dish cooked in peanut sauce. Oh yeah. Acaraje, baked black-eyed pea ball fried in palm oil. Usually stuffed with shrimp and vinaigrette. Moqueca de camarão, a shrimp stew cooked in coconut milk and palm oil. Add veggies such as peppers, tomatoes to complete. Man, so good. All right, next up, Argentina. Argentina, okay? That was Brazil, now Argentina, okay? A little bit of history, probably the most well-known manifestation of Argentine culture, the Latin dance and music known as tango originated in the slaughterhouses district of Buenos Aires at the end of the 19th century. Facts about Argentina. Argentina Republic is a federal republic located in southeastern South America, covering most of the southern cone. It is bordered by Bolivia, Paraguay to the north, Brazil to the northeast, Uruguay, and the South Atlantic Ocean to the east, Chile to the west, and Drake Passage to the south. Argentina is the 8th largest country in the world, the 2nd largest Latin America. Capital Buenos Aires, capital Buenos Aires, population of about 43 million. The official currency is peso. Official language is Spanish, although many people speak Italian and German. Some indigenous populations still speak their native languages. Football or soccer is the most popular sport in Argentina. Major export is Argentina wine. Okay. Their cuisine is described as a cultural blending of Mediterranean influences, such as those created by Italian and Spanish populations, with the very small inflows, mainly in the border areas, indigenous with a wide scope of agricultural products that are abundant in the country. Argentine annual consumption of beef has averaged between 220 pounds per capita, approaching 396 pounds per capita during the 19th century. Consumption averaged about 149 pounds in 2007. So they eat about 150 pounds of beef a year per person. Beyond asado is Argentine barbecue. No other dish more generally matches the national identity. Argentine people have the reputation for the love of eating. Social gatherings are common center in the sharing the meal. Invitations to have dinner at home is generally viewed as a symbol of friendship, warmth, and integration. Sunday family lunch is considered the most significant meal of the week, with those highlights often include asado or pasta. Another feature of Argentina cuisine is the preparation of homemade foods such as French fries and patties, and pasta to celebrate a special occasion, to meet friends, or to honor somebody. The traditional locally preparing food is passed down from generation to generation. The homemade food's also seen as a way of show affection. Argentina restaurants include a great variety of cuisines, prices, and flavors. Large cities tend to host everything from high-end international cuisine to bodegones, inexpensive traditional hidden taverns. Less stylish restaurants and bars and canteens offering a range of dishes of affordable prices. So typical foods, dulce de leche is one of them. It's like the caramel in a can. Popular national spread used to fill cakes and pancakes, eaten over toast, and as an ice cream flavor. Grilled meat from the asado barbecue is a staple with steak and beef ribs, especially common. The term asado itself refers to a long strip of flank cut beef ribs. Popular items such as chorizo, morcilla, blood sausage, and chillings. Sweetbreads and other parts of the animal also enjoyed. In Patagonia, however, lamb and chivo, goat, are eaten more frequently than beef. Whole lamb and goats are traditionally cooked over open fire in a technique known as asado or la estaca. So that's their national barbecue. They, asado, cook some steak on the grill. The most common condiment for asado is chimichurri, which we are going to be making chimichurri. A sauce of herbs, garlic, and vinegar. Unlike other preparations, Argentinians do not include chili on their version of chimichurri. Nah, we do. Breaded and fried meats, milanesas are used as snacks, and sandwiches are eaten with warm mashed potatoes. Puree empanadas, small pastries of meat, cheese, and sweet corn, and 100 other fillings are common side in parties and picnics or in starters to a meal. Variation of the empanada, which we're going to be making tomorrow, empanada galleja, Galician empanada, is a big round meat pie, most commonly with tuna and mackerel. Vegetables and salads are also eaten by Argentines. Tomatoes, onions, lettuce, and eggplants, squashes, and zucchini are common side dishes. Italian staples such as pizza and pasta are eaten commonly as beef, fideos, noodles, fettuccine, and tlaquili, gnocchi, raviolis, and cannelloni can be bought fresh made from the establishments of larger cities. Italian-style ice cream is served in large parlors, even driven through the business. In Chubut, the Welsh community is known for this tea houses offering scones and torta galesa, which is rather like a torta negra. Sandwiches de miga are delicious sandwiches made with crustless bread, butter, white bread, very thinly sliced cured meat, cheese, and lettuce. They are often purchased from entrepreneurial homes. Cooks may be eaten for a light evening meal. A sweet paste dulce de leche is another treasure additional food used to fill cakes and pancakes, spread over toasted bread or breakfast, or served with an ice cream. Alfaroes are shortbread cookies sandwiched together between chocolate and dulce de leche and fruit. The policeman's or truck driver's sweet is cheese with quince, paste of dulce de membrillo. Dulce de batata is made from sweet potato yam. This with this cheese is Martin Ferro's sweet apples, pears, peaches, kiwi fruits, avocados, and plums are the major exports. So 10 dishes every visitor in Argentina needs to try. CNN, while beef is the backbone of Argentina's daily diet, there are plenty of other tasty treats awaiting you in the world's 8th largest country. Besides taking inspiration from the Italian and Spanish immigrants, Argentina's dishes also feature ingredients from the Andean Northeast, Northwest, as well as Patagonia to the south. Okay, here we go. Choripan. Okay. Another cheap and cheerful street food hit. Choripan used to be served on an entree or an asado barbecue. But thanks to its hand-shaped, the sausage sandwich, where chorizo sausage teams up with a pan of bread, is ideal for snack and travelers on the go. That is like the hot dog. You can slather a chimichurri, spicy sauce made from oregano, parsley, garlic, chili flakes, and red wine vinegar, or salsa criolla, tomato, onions, and red bell pepper variant. While chorizo is usually made from pork, Boer sausages can also be found in some of the restaurants. Pizza. The world's cheesiest, courtesy of Kentucky, while Argentina's pies might be shows some similar resemblances to their native Napolitan cousins. They have a circular form of dough base. That is where the similarities end. Inch high crust tend to go light in tomato sauce and overcompensating with so much Argentina-style mozzarella cheese. It drips down the sides. Garnishes include green olives, oregano, and dried chili flakes. Another cheese and tomato pizza is simply referred to as a musa. Some traditional pizzerias in Buenos Aires sell by the slice, designed to be eaten standing on the bar, Customers can also order a la farina, a filling of sliced chickpea pancake to soak up the gooey cheese. Okay. Milanesa, we did that in foundations, guys. Okay. Another American dish, Argentina dish with Italian influence is a Milanesa, known for its escalopes to the rest of the world. Usually made with a silver side, a round of beef on the outside leg, a chicken breast. The meat is hammered down with a thin cut before being bathed in breadcrumbs. They need the fried or baked. Toppings, however, raise the dish's excitement levels. A caballo, or horseback, means topped with fried egg. A la napolitana ups the ante with cheese and tomato sauce. A la Suiza uses Gruyere. Large appetite should order completa with ham, cheese, and tomato sauce. Best accompanied with French fries and a token of salad, little salad. Okay. Provoleta. This soft round provoleta cheese, provolone cheese, is very bland. Eating experience until it's slapped on the grill. Provoleta made from the cow's milk, then turns into a gooey goodness. It's a classic start to Argentina asado or barbecue. Grill in a specially sized skillet or a simple foil dish. Provoleta is often topped with oregano and should be slightly crisp on the outside and melted on the inside. For creamy yet acidic taste, try the goat's milk provoleta. What else? Asado. Okay. Being so tempting in Argentina that even vegetarians have been known to succumb to its wiles. Okay. The best way to best way to assemble an asado, which refers to both barbecue as well as traditional way of grilling beef. It is the most important social event in Argentina, bringing together friends and families over the weekend. Okay. What else? A multi-step meal can last several hours. In entrees include choripan, morcilla, with sausage, provoleta. Moving on to the organ meats such as sweetbreads, chitterlings, and kidneys. Building up to the main game, recommend trying matabrito de cerdo, pork flank steak, drizzled with lemon juice before tucking it into one of the several cuts as a tender ojo de bife, a beef ribeye, or sirloin, which comes with the strip fat, tasty asado de tira, and full flavor skirt steak. While asado is an Argentina home, is the most legitimate experience. Some restaurants serve the next best thing, a la parrillada, which is a small portable grill complete with glowing coals and keeps the cuts warm. Okay, so this is their national dish, asado. It is their barbecue. Again, they're carnivores and meat lovers. Okay, this is their pastime. Okay, llama, yes, they do eat llama. Okay. Believe it or not, there's a slice of llama hiding under all the pretty foliage, courtesy of Pablo Baccarat. Eating llama steak is a norm in Argentina's northwest, given the Cambolate is well adapted to the Jujuy province of 2,000 plus meters above sea level altitude. While its flavor is more rustic and earthy than beef, fat levels are lower, which makes it a healthy alternative. It can be sampled in empanadas or stews as a standalone steak. Some swanky restaurants even serve it as carpaccio tartare. Humita, little tamales, eating a savory snack or some main course. Humita is the ultimate corn tribute. Leafy packages are united to reveal the corn mash inside. The whole package either steamed or boiled, dating back to the pre-Columbian times. Humita is eaten around the Andean region, including Chile, Bolivia, Peru, made with the fresh corn milk, onion spice, sometimes goat cheese, added to the pepper up. Okay. What else? A hearty stew, locro. National dish joins to serve on May 25th, the day marking Argentina's May Revolution, made from white corn, beef, pork, tripe, and red chorizo, as well as other veggies including white beans, squash, and pumpkin. And seasoned with cumin and bay leaf, this tasty meal in a bowl is an ideal winter warmer. It can be ramped up with a dash of chimichurri, hot salsa made from paprika, spring onions, and chili. Also worth trying, carbonara is a familiar dish that includes sweet corns that is even inside baked, seasoned, and pumpkin. Okay. Dulce de leche, again, this is their caramel. Okay. Some Argentinians will argue that licking dulce de leche, caramelized milk and sugar sauce from a spoon is a meal in itself. However, this sweet and sticky salsa usually accompanies desserts such as flan. A well-known invention, dulce de leche flavor helado ice cream. An ice cream parlor that didn't stock it will soon go out of business. The bonus of Argentina's ice cream is thick and creamy, giving gelato a decadent run for its money. Yes, and Häagen-Dazs does have a dulce de leche ice cream, just in case you're interested. Okay. Chile, the last country we're going to stop in this day today. Okay, Chile. Fun facts about Chile. Capital is Santiago de Chile. Population is about 17 million. Let me get out of this. Yeah. South American country occupying a long, narrow strip of land between the Andes Mountains to the east, the Pacific Ocean to the west. It borders Peru to the north, Bolivia to the northeast, Argentina to the east, and the Drake Passage to the far south. Spain conquered, colonized Chile in the mid-16th century, replacing Incas in the north and central Chile, but failed to conquer the independent and central Chile that inhibited south central Chile. After declaring its independence from Spain, 1818, Chile emerged in the 1930s as a relatively stable authoritarian republic in the 19th century. Chile is today one of the South America's most stable, prosperous nation. Okay. There you go. Come on. One more. Fun facts of Chile. Okay. The Valle de Luna in Chile's Actamar Desert is said to resemble the moon's surface. Chile has the driest desert in the world. Okay, the Atacama Desert. Calama is a town in a desert that has never seen rain. Who wants to live there? Penguins live on the small islands of northeast Chile, northern Chile. Okay. What else? Largest wood producer. 90% of the animal species native to Chile are found nowhere in the world. Okay. What else? Native rainforests include the world's second largest temperature rainforest. 1/4 to 1/3 of the world's remaining temperature rainforests are in Chile. Aracaray is Alcerde. Also, what else? Chile is the longest country in the world from north to south at about 2,647 miles long. Okay. Chilean cuisine varies depending on where you are because of its ecological and climate diversity. There's a great variety of products available in different regions. The different regional cuisines are a combination of traditional native Chilean dishes and ingredients, European and lesser extent Middle Eastern influences, according to the Chilean Creole cuisine. Because of Chile's long coastal seafood is the main ingredient of its many dishes. Mostly in the center of the south in the country, local crops are the staple of each regional cuisine, which have been prepared for thousands of years by native Indians before the Spanish arrived. Among the most important agriculture crops are maize, also known as chocolo. We do have a dish in the portal called chocolo, not my favorite. Quinoa and potatoes, which have been cultivated since pre-Inca times, providing nourishment in the highly altitudes of the Andes. Since the time of the Spanish conquest, Chile has been producing grapes for its soil for each central region. Gastronomy system stems mainly from the combination of traditional Spanish cuisine, Chilean indigenous Mapuche culture, and the local ingredients with an important influence from the other European cuisines, particularly from Germany and France. The food tradition and recipes in Chile are notable for the variety of flavors and ingredients with the country's diverse geography and climate, hosting a wide range of agricultural produce, fruits and veggies. The long coastline and the people's relationship with the Pacific Ocean add an immense array of seafood products. Oh yeah. Chilean cuisine, where the country's waters home to the unique species of fish, mollusks, crustaceans, and algae. Thanks to the oxygen-rich water carried by the Humboldt Current, Chile is also one of the world's largest producers of wine, and many Chilean recipes are enhanced by the local wines. 17th century pastry was popularized in the nuns who baked in convents. A popular Chilean saying is "tiene mano de monja." She has the hands of a nun. It comes from a spirit that refers to someone who is really good at baking or cooking in general. The nuns' pastry recipes have become popular among the rest of the Chilean population. During the same period, geese and turkeys arrived in Chile from Mexico, and melons and watermelons from Jamaica. During the 18th century, Chilean cuisine started to become more sophisticated, particularly among the aristocracy. Tea and coffee began to replace mate. Chilean wine became popular, and people started to drink chicha de uva, a sweet undistilled wine made from fermented grapes and apples. During the early years of the Chilean independence, so-called Patria Vieja, Chileans celebrated with empanadas, chicha, and red wine. Also, Chilean food has taken the inspiration from its European heritage. It has carved a niche for itself in the world food culture. Chilean food dishes menus is listed to be bright, flavorful, and wholesome meats. Meals that can be put a large smile on the face of any foodie. Okay. So let's take a look at the top 10 dishes from Chile. Empanadas. We are going to be making those tomorrow. And see the picture on the right-hand side, top right-hand side. That is how we're going to fold them. I'm going to give you a demo how to fold them. We're not going to fold them and do the fork. That's a lazy way out. Okay. What else? Empanadas and humitas. Again, little tamales. Okay. Pastel de choclos, like a shepherd's pie with a cornmeal batter on top and it's baked. Not my favorite. Not my favorite. Okay. Anyways, it's a blend of sweet and savory corn pudding, bursting with sweet corn, ground beef, olives, onions, hard-boiled eggs, and raisins. Like I said, it's not my favorite. It's kind of funky. Completos, hot dogs. Completos is a Chilean version of hot dogs. If you love hot dogs, you must eat the completo chile. A typical Chilean completo is served with tomato, sauerkraut, sausage, and lots of mayo. Walk along the streets of Santiago with completos and a tall drink to keep you energized. If you're lucky, you might find a vendor who sells completos with avocados. Ceviche. Ceviche is a wonderful lime marinated seafood. It's one of the more popular foods in Chile. The Chilean version is made with raw fish like halibut marinated in citric juices and initially served with cilantro, cumin, onions, sauteed garlic, and olive oil. If you only want to try something different, you could also go for the old shrimp ceviche. Yeah, but they add ginger, fish sauce, and other ingredients. Not the same as the one in Mexico. Asado. Asado is the mother of all barbecues. Chileans are extremely social and love to invite people over to get together. So the meeting asado, usually beef, pork, mutton, or chicken, is low roasted and charcoal grilled for 2 or 3 hours and is cooked in a sturdy stick and is rotated regularly. Slow roasting meat makes succulent and tasty. This is the famous Chilean food barbecue at least once you're there. Chorillana is an absolute favorite amongst all Chilean fast foods. Traditionally, sauteed beef, onions, fried eggs, and sausage, a heap of French fries. Bringing about a gorgeous twist to the mundane fried potatoes. Both items are taste and design, found at almost all bars and loved by locals. Chorillana is a Chilean food dish you simply have to try. Cazuela is a favorite of the locals, both Spanish and Mapuche regions. Cazuela is a heartwarming broth loved by almost everyone. It is made with large chunks of chicken, beef, pumpkin potatoes, cilantro, and corn noodles, slow cooked to perfection. Chilean comfort food, cazuela is favorite of most mothers who ward off the cold of their children. Your menu for tomorrow. Here you go, guys. Ready? Menu for tomorrow. We got churrasco with chimichurri. Okay. And French fries. Yes, we are going to be using their fry later, so you know how it gets around 4 o'clock. Okay. By 4 o'clock, you should be frying your French fries for the second time, not blanching them. Got it? Joe, Annika, Ileana, Michael, Carlos, Elijah, Beyonce, Sergio, Jomar. So 4 o'clock, you should be frying them crispy, last frying, okay? Your steak, we are gonna use the grill. It needs to be grilled, okay? Medium rare, medium rare. After you present, then you can cremate it, caramelize it, blacken it on occasion if you wish to, okay? If that's your preference. But for presentation, it needs to be medium rare. The chimichurri, okay, we are not following the recipe in the portal. Joe, Annika, Ileana, Michael, Carlos, Elijah, Beyonce, Sergio, Jamar.
Hey, Jeff.
Yes. Okay. We're not following that one. I'm going to give you a different recipe, okay? Because that's not true chimichurri. And we're also making empanadas dulces, okay? So first thing first tomorrow, you have to make the pate brisket for your empanadas. Flaky, not mealy, okay? That's the first thing we got to do. We got to let it rest for 20 minutes so it can get nice and cold. Come back, do the French fries, blanch them, and then knock out your chimichurri. And then go back and finish your empanada, okay? Finish your empanada and make it off. The last thing at 4 o'clock, hopefully, your steak and your French fries. So when you go to the fryer, you should have your steak and your French fries with you to grill the steak and fry your French fries. There are 2 baskets, so 2 of you guys can go at the same time frying your French fries, okay? And we also got to make strudel dough for the next day. Flaky but not mealy, okay? All right, let's take a look at chimichurri, okay? Simple ingredients, okay? It's in Spanish. I'm gonna see if I can dub it in English, okay? Subtitles. Let me see if I can find English. Nope. Okay. So let's hope it goes to English, guys, okay? So you guys can see this video, okay? And I'm also going to put it on the chat, the link. So you guys want to go by, take a look at it, see if you can do it in English subtitles. Got it?
Hola chicos, bienvenidos nuevamente a mi cocina. Hoy vamos a preparar un espectacular chimichurri. Este chimichurri se lo dedico para todos ustedes, pero especialmente para todos aquellos que me escribieron por privado que querían saber cómo se hacía el verdadero chimichurri tradicional argentino. Chicos, los ingredientes básicos que necesitamos son perejil, tengo 5 cucharadas que son más o menos aproximadamente 40 gramos, más o menos.
Chopped parsley, okay? Chopped parsley, guys, okay?
Menos, ¿eh? Tengo 3 cucharadas de orégano.
Dried oregano, okay? Dried oregano. Write it down.
2 cucharadas de ají molido, o sea,
Red chili flakes. Red chili flakes.
picante. 1 cucharadita
Black pepper, ground black pepper, and salt. And the last one is garlic, okay? Minced garlic. You got the canola oil, red wine vinegar, and water. Those are the ingredients. We're going to add a little bit of lime juice as well, okay? Lime juice.
de pimienta negra, 1 cucharadita de sal, 2 dientitos de ajo. Por otro lado, en los líquidos tengo 1 cuartito de agua, de agua tibia, medio vasito de vinagre de vino.
There's got to be warm water, okay? Warm water.
Y 1 vaso de aceite de girasol. Una cosa a tener en cuenta siempre es que las proporciones del aceite y el vinagre son así. Por 1 de aceite, medio de vinagre, ¿ok? Bueno, chicos, súper fácil. Vamos a empezar.
1 part oil, half part vinegar.
Vamos a mezclar primero todos los secos y después vamos a ir agregando los demás ingredientes.
You're first going to do all the dry ingredients, your chili flakes and your oregano with the warm water to rehydrate them and loosen up the flavors.
Tan fácil como esto. Ponemos el orégano,
Oregano,
le agregamos el ají molido
dried chilies,
y a esto lo vamos a hidratar con el agua caliente, el agua tibia.
warm water to rehydrate them.
Le vamos a poner un poquito de agua y lo vamos a hidratar. Si nosotros no le ponemos el agua tibia, lo que va a pasar es que la hoja, hasta que se hidrate con el vinagre y el aceite, van a pasar unos cuantos días. Entonces, lo que podemos hacer es acelerar el proceso poniéndole el agua tibia y todo esto se hidrata y podemos seguir con la receta. Mientras esto se termina de hidratar,
While the water, oregano, and chilies are rehydrating,
le vamos a agregar la pimienta
add your pepper and your salt.
y la sal. Lo mezclamos y vamos a agregarle el ajito que lo vamos a cortar en pedazos.
And you're going to mince the garlic. So disregard the way she's mincing it. And also she's talking about how to clean your knife.
Bien chiquititos. Bueno, yo lo que hago es cortar el ajo bien chiquito, lo hago así medio cuadriculado y después lo corto. Ustedes lo pueden cortar en la tabla como sería el
Yeah, you all know how to
barbecue,
mince garlic.
pero bueno, es cuestión de costumbres. Ahora cortamos el segundo ajito. Tratemos de cortarlo chiquito porque queda mucho más sutil cuando estamos comiendo las carnes o lo que vayamos a condimentar, que no nos encontremos con un pedazo de ajo súper grande, que queda medio feito. Chicos, me imagino que más de uno debe estar diciendo, uff, qué olor a ajo que te van a quedar en los dedos. Tranquilos, truquito para el que no lo sepa. Cuchillito de metal y frotamos los dedos así. Tin, 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 sin jabón, sin nada.
Yeah,
Simplemente
jalapeno
frotamos los
knife.
dedos, frotamos mucho, mucho, mucho. Después nos enjuagamos las manos, ponemos un poquito de detergente o jabón y van a ver que no queda ni un poquito de olor en los dedos. Buenísimo el truquito. Ahora sí, revolvemos bien el ajo y le vamos a agregar el perejil.
Mix the garlic very well, and then you're going to add the parsley.
Le agregamos todo el perejil y seguido de esto le vamos a agregar por último el vinagre y después el aceite.
And you're going to add the vinegar and then this oil,
Le
okay?
agregamos el vinagre. Hay gente también que le pone limón, ¿eh? A mí me gusta más con vinagre. Hay muchas maneras de hacerlo, ya como les dije antes. Pero esto no se lo pierdan, que va a quedar buenísimo y no se van a arrepentir. Perfecto. Así vamos a dejar que se hidrate un poquito, que el vinagre empiece a absorber, las hierbas empiecen a absorber el vinagre, mejor dicho. Una cosa que les quiero decir, si no llegan a tener vinagre de vino, le pueden poner vinagre común, el blanco. Pero lo ideal es el vinagre de vino, porque le da un toque muy característico. Miren, todavía está ahí abajo el vinagre y a poquito va a ir absorbiendo. Lo ideal para comer el chimichurri sería que lo dejemos de un día para el otro, ¿eh? Cuanto más días tenga así conservándose e hidratándose, el sabor va a ser mucho más rico.
The longer you let that chimichurri sit, the more flavor it's going to have.
Para terminar,
Last one, the
le
oil.
vamos a agregar el aceite de girasol. El aceite de girasol, ¿por qué? Pues si le agregamos aceite de oliva, ya le cambiaría totalmente el sabor. Y el aceite de oliva, según qué aceite le pongamos,
Again, canola oil, not olive oil, okay? No olive oil, canola oil.
queda hasta un poco amargo. Quiero que vean cómo quedó la textura.
Take
Miren,
a look at the texture. That's what we're looking for as a chimichurri,
esto
okay?
es importante. Ahora ustedes lo van a ver así, que está un poco como líquido. ¿Por qué? Porque las hierbas todavía no terminaron de hidratarse. Se va a poner un poquito más espeso. ¿Se acuerdan cuando les dije en la receta de pizza que yo le ponía un...
That is your chimichurri, guys. Any questions about your chimichurri?
So why canola and not olive oil?
It becomes too bitter. It's too strong. It'll overpower everything. It's too bitter. Canola oil is more neutral, so you need to have the flavors of the parsley, oregano, chili flakes. But if you add the canola oil, I mean olive oil, it's like too bitter. Your chimichurri, let me go back to this picture, okay, is not supposed to be served on top of your steak. Do not, I repeat, Joe, Mr. B, Annika, Ileana, Michael, Elijah, Kayla, Carlos, Beyonce, Sergio, Jamar, Kevin, Lanaya. Do not cover your steak with chimichurri. Put her on the side, a little serving dish, little ramekin, okay? Your chimichurri is your steak dipping sauce, okay? Do not cover your steak with chimichurri. Heard?
Yes, chef.
Okay. Any questions about tomorrow? Easy, right? Your biggest challenge is going to be your empanadas, okay? Your biggest challenge is going to be your empanadas, guys. That I can tell you off the bat, okay? And then, again, you got to make the strudel for the next day, okay? Thoughts? All right, let's move on to Wednesday, okay? Wednesday. It's another easy day. Mine is your strudel. Germany. Germany, Germany, Germany. Okay, that's what we're hitting Wednesday. German cuisine. And three kingdoms. Fun facts about Germany. Okay. It's a federal parliament republic of Western Central Europe, consisting of 16 constituent states. Capital and largest city is Berlin. Germany covers an area of about 3,057,000 square kilometers, about the size of Texas. Okay. It's about 1.9 times the size of Germany. Population about 80 million inhabitants. It is the most populous member of the State of the European Union. Germany is a major economic political power of the European continent and a history leader in many cultural, theoretical, and technical fields. To the US, Germany is the second most popular migration destination in the world. Okay. German cuisine. What comes to mind when we think about German cuisine? Oh yeah, sauerkraut, bratwurst, German chocolate cake, which is not really German. The guy who made it was German. And beer, lots and lots of German beer. Okay, man, I like to go to Fredericksburg and Scheinerbach. There are a lot of differences in cooking tradition with corned beef, potatoes, beetroots, herring, eel soup in the north. Yes, eel soup. No, thank you. Okay. What else? Spargel is a white asparagus. Okay. Spatzel and broodseed, the late breakfast with those wonderful brown breads, and wurst in the south. Take a look at the little platter down there in the bottom right. Oh yeah, it's spargel. Breakfast, Frühstück, commonly consists of bread, toast, and or bread rolls with jam, marmalade or confiture, marmalade or honey, eggs, and strong coffee or tea or milk, cocoa or juice for children. Okay, Frühstück. Deli meats such as ham, salted meat, salami are also commonly eaten by bread in the morning, as various cheeses, variety meat-based spreads such as liverwurst or liver sausage can be found during breakfast as well too. Oh yeah, spread on some toast. Traditionally, the main meal of the day has been lunch, Mittagessen, eaten around noon. Holy cow, I can just go take an nap after eating that meal. Okay. Dinner, Abendessen or Abendbrot has always been a smaller meal, often consisting of only a few variety of breads, meat, sausages, cheese, and some kind of veggies. Similar to breakfast or possibly sandwiches. However, in Germany, as in other parts of Europe, dining habits have changed over the last 50 years. Today, many people eat only a small meal in the middle of the working day at work and enjoy dinner in the evening at home with the whole family. Man, oh man, forget about you're vegan. Meat, German sauerbraten with potato and dumplings, Klobby, pork, beef, and poultry are the main varieties of meat consumed in Germany, pork being the most popular. Average annual meat consumption is about 130 pounds. Among poultry, chicken is most common, although duck, goose, and turkey also consumed. Game meat, especially boar, hare, and venison, have also widely available, especially in autumn and winter. Lamb and goat are less popular. Meat is usually braised, pan-fried dishes also exist, but these recipes usually originate from France and Austria. Several cooking methods used to soften tough cuts have been evolved into national specialties, including sauerbraten, sour toast, sour roast, involving marinating beef, and yes, horse meat, ayo silver, or venison, and vinegar wine mixture for over several days. A long tradition of sausage making exists. In Germany, more than 1,500 types of sausage, German wurst, are made. Most wursts are made with natural cases of pork, sheep, or lamb intestines. Among the most popular and common are the bratwurst, usually made from ground pork and spices, the Wiener Viennese, which may be pork or beef in a smoke or fully cooked in water bath, or bloodwurst, blood sausage, or Scharwurst, black sausage made from blood, often of pigs and geese. Thousands of types of cold cuts are also available. There are many regional specialties such as Münchner, Munchnik white sausage, popular in Bavaria, and the currywurst, depending on the region, either a steamed pork sausage or version of the bratwurst. Sliced and spiced with curry ketchup, popular in the metropolitan areas, Berlin and Hamburg, and the rural area. Strict regulations governing what may and not be put into them have been enforced in Germany since the 13th century. In the market ordinance, Landhurst in 1236, it was set down of only top quality meats could be made into sausages. Okay. Fish, smoked sprat or saltwater fish. Alaskan pollock is the most common. Popular freshwater fish in German menu are trout, pike, carp, European perch are also listed frequently. Seafood traditionally was restricted to the north and coastal areas, except for pickled herring, which often served with fish broughton as roll mops. Pickled herring, fillet rolled in a cylindrical shape, around a piece of pickled gherkin or an onion. And brathering, fried marinated herring. Today, many sea fish, including fresh herring, tuna, mackerel, salmon, and sardines, are well established throughout the country. Prior to the Industrial Revolution and the salting pollution of the rivers, salmon are common in the rivers of Rhine, Elbe, and Oder. Fish fingers, known as fish bachten, popular processed foods making using whitefish such as cod, haddock, pollock, which has been battered and breaded. Hello, John Long John Silvers. Veggies, typical serving of asparagus with hollandaise sauce and potatoes. It's a classical dish. Vegetables are often used in stews or soups, but also served as side dishes. Carrots, cauliflower, turnips, spinach, peas, beans, broccoli, many types of cabbage are very common. Fried onions are common in addition to the many meats throughout the country. Circa 1900, carrots were sometimes roasted in water with the broth used in place of coffee. My coffee lovers. Asparagus, especially white asparagus, known in German as Spargel, is a common dish or maybe prepared as main dish. Restaurants will sometimes devote the entire menu to nothing but white asparagus when it's in season. Spargel season, German Spargelos, begins in mid-April and ends in St. John's Day, June 24th. So right now is white asparagus season. Okay. Germans are known for their traditional German cuisine around the world. What many people don't know is the fact that German cuisine is so much more than just sausage and meat. Depending on what Germany you stay in, you will find big various traditional comfort foods. The area on Hamburg is known for fresh fish dishes. Don't get fooled by the pictures there. Okay. While in the south, it's known for all types of foods made with pork. Okay. So traditional side dishes in Germany, Spätzle. We're going to be making it this day on Wednesday, guys. Do you guys make Spätzle in Foundations?
Is it going to be better than the one we made in Foundations?
I
Yeah,
hope
that
so.
one was trash.
I wasn't a fan of it.
Horrible.
I hope so. It'll be better because you have me. I just kidding. So do you guys know what Spätzle translates to English? The word Spätzle?
Fried dough or boiled dough? No.
Little sparrows. Little sparrows. So we're going to make awesome Spätzle, guys, okay? Bratwurst, not surprisingly, already in our second place, we have a dish made with pork. Bratwurst is part of every German barbecue and also different from the area to area. The most famous bratwurst are for sure the short and thin ones coming from Nuremberg. Grill your bratwurst for 2 minutes on each side, put it in a bun, add some ketchup or mustard, and you're ready to this iconic German dish. Almost like your choripan from Argentina. Currywurst, pretty much curry with ketchup. Another sausage top 10 just Germany is currywurst. It's an institution in Berlin. Invented in Berlin by Herta Heuer, 1949. The currywurst is usually made with pork sausage, either wrapped in or without darn. Cut into thin slices of sausage, not covered in a mix of ketchup, and some curry powder. And is ready to your first German currywurst. Like I said, just ketchup with curry. Bratkartoffeln. Germans sometimes refer to as Kartoffeln as a joke because it seems that every day German is having a German is having at least one dish which contains Kartoffeln, potatoes. While the stereotype not true, is it true that Kartoffeln are an excellent way of eating a portion of Kartoffeln in Germany? Slice up some boiled potatoes, slice them thinly, put them in a frying pan with a lot of oil, bacon, onions, and fry them until they turn dark and crispy, almost like your home fries. Now they held this option on your top 10 things to eat in Germany, but man, they are good, especially if we do them with duck fat. Oh, Elijah, do we have any duck fat? I think we have some duck fat in the freezer. Anyways, Kartoffeln. Sauerbraten. It's a dish you usually get served when you're visiting the grandparents on a special occasion. To prepare a sauerbraten, you will need some high quality piece of beef and a lot of time. Meat is put in the oven and cooked slowly in its juices for hours and hours. but slow cooking is low heat will make it meat incredibly soft and tender. Oh yeah. Maltuscan. Rumor has it that back in the days, some monks who were not allowed to eat any meat during feasting covered some meat in kind of a pasta dough so that God could not see what they were eating meat. Sneaky little monks. No matter if that story is true or not, believers will say that Swabian dish is another fantastic thing to try while in Germany. Maltuscan are either boiled or fried, with coming all kinds of stuffing like pork, beef, or even a veggie option. Leberkas. Of course, another dish made of pork and meat is leberkas. Leberkas usually served with as a snack during the day rather than the meal. Leberkas is more of a kind of a sausage that's put into the oven a long time. Then slices several white bread and sweet mustard. Very tasty and also very heavy, probably not the healthiest of all German foods as well. Schnitzel. Easy does it, right? Is he like your Milanese from Foundations? Rouladen. If you ever want to cook rouladen yourself, we strongly advise you to go butcher shop and ask them for some ready-made rouladen, because otherwise it'll take a long time to make the roll. Okay. What else? Goulash. One of the argue that goulash is not really German invention, but nevertheless, Germans love their goulash. May have taken the original recipes and turned them into some variations of their own. Goulash is made with thick pieces of meat that have been slow cooked in a rich sauce, sometimes made of red wine, which makes the meat very soft and tender. Goulash can be eaten as a soup or in some dishes like spätzle. Oh yeah. Switzerland, the last country in this day. Okay. Some history of Switzerland. Swiss and Swiss Confederation has a long history of armed neutrality. Has not been in a state of war internationally since 1815. Switzerland is only the birthplace of the Red Cross, hence their flag. Home to numerous international organizations, including the second largest UN. Capital is none, but Bern is considered in facto. Official languages, German, French, Italian, and Romanesque. Population about 8 million. Switzerland has the highest nominal wealth per adult in the world. Swiss basic food items include huge selection of bread, white, whole wheat, dairy products such as milk, yogurt, butter, of course, a great variety of the world's famous Swiss cheese. Also important are veggies, including beans, carrots, cauliflower, potatoes, spinach, etc. Sausages and meat, mainly veal, beef, pork. Chicken and turkey are served in many different ways, grilled, cooked, or sliced or cut. Side dishes include French fries, rice, potatoes, and different types of pasta. Fruits are available from all over the world. Locally grown fruits include apples, pears, grapes, and different types of berries, such as blackberries, blueberries, raspberries, red currants, and strawberries. Finally, there are lots of sweets, including the second type of food in Switzerland. The world is famous for Swiss chocolate, but we're not talking Swiss Miss, okay? That's nasty. Top 10 foods in Switzerland. With the mountainous landscape perfect for decadent ski holidays, vast lakes, and unique climate, Switzerland is a perfect place for a mini break. It's also home to some hearty traditional cuisine, whether you're visiting Switzerland to enjoy activity, holiday of the slopes, or plumping for a European city break. Here we go. Fondue, right? Fondue is Switzerland's many seem cliche, but it's incredibly woven into the country's fabric for centuries. Swiss living in the mountains rely on fondue as a way to use bread and cheese during colder months. Today, it is a must-have for any local visitor to the country from autumn to spring. Dunked rustic country bread into a melted cheese, okay? Infused with lashes of white wine and garlic, bubbling over an open flame. Pair yours with white wine and cheese, and there you go. Have you guys ever eaten at a place called The Melting Pot?
I've wanted to, but it's super expensive.
Yeah, you can probably drop 120 bucks for a couple. So what you call it? That is the melting pot is they bring your food to your table after you chosen what you're gonna eat, and they bring the little sterner with a little pot of boiling juices, and you cook your own food. It's kind of nice and intimate. Next one, leeks with potatoes and sausage, papé bedois. Okay. Rosti potatoes, like a big old giant omelet hash brown. Okay, roasted potatoes. Basel style roasted flour soup. Let me know what you guys think about this flour soup. Okay, once I read the ingredients. It was once said that a girl from Basel could not marry until she knew how to make roasted flour soup. Although there are countless ways to make the dish, at its most basic, it is simply flour, butter, onion, and beef stock, topped with a reserving grating of Gruyere cheese. Legend has it that the soup was created when a distracted cook was chatting away, leaving flour cooking in the pot until accidentally brown. Rather than ditch the mishap, it was thrown into a dish that has endured. A soup is a must-have Basil Countable, which is officially launched with a serving of it at 3 a.m. So what does that sound like for you guys that have been gone through foundations? Flour, butter, onion, and beef stock.
Sounds like a roux.
Velouté.
Bingo. Velouté with beef stock, right? That's what it is. So velouté with beef stock with cheese. That's it. Soup. Raclette. Scents of wood-burning fires and pine waft drawing Switzerland's rose and cooler months. Step into the most hillside hunts of the fragrance of pungent melted raclette cheese would also greet you. Hailing from the Canton Valais, raclette is a local cheese customarily grilled or slow over fire. With melted layer of slice to blanket boiled potatoes, pickles, and onions. Contemporary raclette machines make grilling commonplace in Swiss homes, where friends gather for hours waiting for a slice of raclette to melt while drinking copious glasses of local Fendant wine. Oh man, Fendant wine is delicious too. Zurich style ragu and veal and mushrooms. Okay, Zurich style diced veal is an iconic national dish. Makes it a hearty wintertime lunch made of sliced veal, calves, kidneys, and sweetbreads. Oh yeah. Sauteed in gravy, onions, butter, white wine, cream, and mushrooms. This old school favorite hails from the Switzerland's most dynamic German-speaking city that has found its way justifiably onto menus around the country. The mixture of cream laced with wine over veal, Zürcher Gästen, is also known for a Swiss-German dialect, the late of the piste or not. Tartelef was conceived near the French-Swiss border in the permanent Haute Savoy home to the local Revolution cheese. The cheese dates back to the 16th century. Tartelef was fashionably in the 1980s by the Robertson Trade Union in an effort to help sagging sales. And it worked. Today, tartelef is a staple dish of most ski resorts, particularly those with Swiss Romanade. Rustic plate is starchy, combination of thinly sliced potatoes, smoky bits of bacon, caramelized onions, and oozy, nutty, creamy Revolution cheese. Burn style Leckerlis, biscuits, and hazelnuts. Leckerlis have a long traditional history in Switzerland, particularly in Christmas time. Though their ancestors Leckerlis, the German sweets, these spiced gingerbread-like biscuits were given to a tender hazelnut rendering in the Swiss capital of Bern centuries ago. Sticky, spicy, sweet, Leckerlis are more than worthy for your Swiss culinary bucket list, particularly when dunked in tea. Only in Switzerland does this cheese have seasonally and being between September and April, when the mountains are snow-capped, Monday or vaccinated pop-ups and cheese shops, as well as over a century. This soft, pungent cow milk cheese is freshly made from the villages around the Jura region, covered with white wine and garlic. Then cooked in the round wooden packaging, digging into its gooey, creamy cheese, served with warm boiled potatoes, is a delightful winter ritual. Scandinavia, the last one. Brief history. Region of Northern Europe characterized by common ethno-cultural Germanic heritage, which includes the three kingdoms of Norway, Denmark, and Sweden. Population of about 20 million. Languages: Danish, Swedish, Norwegian, and Norse. Scandinavians, well known as brilliant designers. Again, check this out, guys. Scandinavians, widely known as brilliant designers, have designed and crafted items for the beautification of the table: porcelain, silverware, crystal, and linen. We got a story here that has all those elements, and it's in Round Rock. We mentioned it a while ago. Do you guys remember?
Sorry, come again? You cut out for me.
The Scandinavians are well known as brilliant designers, have designed and crafted items for the beautification of the table: porcelain, silverware, crystal, and linen. And we have a store here in Round Rock that has those elements.
Personally, I don't remember.
The colors of that store name is gold and blue, or blue and gold. IKEA. You guys ever been to IKEA?
Are they owned by them? What? I'm
IKEA.
confused.
IKEA. Anywho, what is widely known as their excellent cooks as well? It should stand for reason, however, that people who care so much about the way that looks will also care about the food that is put on them. Okay. Scandinavian. See, there we go. IKEA on the left, bottom picture, right? IKEA. So what is Scandinavian cuisine? Many things: fish, pork, and poultry, as well as beets, potatoes, cucumbers, dill, parsley, horseradish, broil, baked and smoked apples. Cooking is pure and simple. Descendants of the Vikings, they consumed some of the dishes the Vikings ate. The Vikings loved oysters. Oh yeah, mussels. They savored mutton, cheese, cabbage, apples, onions, berries, and nuts. All this continued to be staples of the Scandinavian diet. The Vikings raised chickens and geese. They hunted wild birds, elk, deer, and bear, just as their modern counterparts did. Even a few of the more esoteric tastes the Vikings lived on. Top 10 Scandinavian dishes. Sourdough bread. Yep. Red currant squash. Beetroot fritters with horseradish and the old yogurt sauce. I don't know about that one. I'll try it though. Honey yogurt cheese. Okay. Spiced meatballs with cranberry compote, yogurt, and dill. Different. I'll give it a try. Berried salmon, aka your gravlax, that we made in 2-1. Scandinavian apricot almond bar. So if you guys go to IKEA, when you check out, there's a little store in the front left, and they have all this stuff in there for you guys to buy. Little retail store. Pork with rosemary, thyme, and garlic. Swedish cinnamon butterhorns, candle bull bar. Your menu for tomorrow, for Wednesday. Your menu for Wednesday. Spatzel. Better than the one you guys made in foundations. Okay. Now, guys, please pay close attention, guys. Joe, Annika, Elijah, Beyonce, Michael, Carlos, Sergio, Jomar, and Ileana. Okay. I am bringing my spatzel makers on campus on Wednesday. I only got 3, so you might have to share. Okay. When you're done with them, and I will remind you, wash them and return it back to my table. Those are my own personal spatzel makers. They don't belong to the school. I already lost the cookie cutter that I brought out for the crab cakes, and I already lost the little star tip that I let Jamar borrow for the popping of the potatoes. Remember Jamar? I already lost 2 pieces of equipment, the cookie cutter and the star tip. I am not about to lose.
Oh, Chef, I got your star tip with me now.
Okay.
I forgot to give it back to you after class.
All right, but I'm not about to lose the spatzel makers, okay, guys? I only got 3, okay? Spatzel. Don't worry about the raised green cabbage. Cabbage rolls. So pay close attention, guys, even the guys online, okay? Cabbage rolls. You're gonna take the outer leaves of the cabbage. You're gonna dunk it for about a few minutes or blanch them in hot, salted, boiling water. Take them out, shock them in ice water. This will make them pliable, okay? You're gonna take your raw pork, mix it with cooked rice. You guys should know how to cook rice already. When you come in that day, first things first, cook the rice, get the cabbage rolling, okay? Cook the rice, get the cabbage rolling. On the bowl, put your pork, your cooked rice, okay, your seasoning spices, and start wrapping that cabbage roll that has been blanched and shocked in ice water. Season your tomato sauce with a little bit of oregano, a little bit of salt, tomato sauce on the bottom of the pan, cabbage rolls on top, more tomato sauce on top, saran wrap, aluminum foil on top of the container, and they're going to go into the oven for about 30 minutes until the internal temperature of the cabbage reaches 165 degrees. Okay.
So, sorry, I have a question. Why do you do saran wrap and then boil?
Saran wrap cooks the product with its own moisture. The foil covers the saran wrap from burning up and creating holes. If you don't put saran wrap, when you put the product in the oven with aluminum foil, it's going to tear, it's going to create holes, it's going to dry your product. We want it to remain nice and moist, not to lose moisture, okay? And again, if you know how to roll a doobie in a blunt, you know how to roll a cabbage roll. Just saying that, okay? Or my my air polluters. Just don't pinch the edges, guys, okay? Don't pinch the edges. No roach clip, okay? Again, if you know how to roll a blunt or doobie, you know how to roll a cabbage roll. That's all I'm saying.
Wait, Chef, so we supposed to tuck it?
Tuck it. Don't pinch it. Tuck it, okay? Again, I'm just putting it out there, being blunt, okay? All right, it's cabbage rolls. We're not going to smoke it, okay? And your apple strudel, okay? And your apple strudel that day, okay? So we're going to bring out our dough, let it rest, roll it out, and your apple strudel is going to be made. The only challenge we have is don't make the dough too thick and don't roll it too many times, because the thicker it becomes, it's going to be underbaked at the bottom. It's going to be overcooked on the top, okay? So gotta be careful how you roll this dough, because again, it's going to come out not cooked or crispy on the top, okay? Any thoughts about Wednesday's menu? All right, let's take a look at spatula for those of you guys who have had a challenge making it in the past, okay? I'm gonna put the link on the chat, but also here it is, the spatula. How to make your spatula, okay?
You say
Let me fast forward this commercial.
I got a crack in my windshield.
And Lisa, maybe less heartbroken.
Geico lets you file a claim
Yeah.
manually when you want.
Are you crying?
No, there's pollen. Geico. Let me go in for a taste.
Let me
so I
go
can
for a
see how I
beginning,
did on
okay?
my-
So close attention, guys, on this spatula, okay?
Hello, this is Chef John from foodwishes.com with Spätzle, or as we Americans prefer to pronounce it, Spätzle. That's right, I'm going to show you how to make the world's smallest dumplings. And while technically that's what they are, I prefer to think of these as the world's easiest free-form pasta, since the taste and texture are very similar, and they will pretty much work with any of your favorite pasta preparations. Plus, above and beyond all that, this stuff is way faster and easier to make than pasta, as you're about to see. So with that, let's go ahead and get started with our Spätzle batter, which is made with some all-purpose flour, to which we will add 1 large egg. Of course, we'll also need some salt, which we always do, as well as, for me, a little pinch of cayenne, which I'm assuming is rarely added in Germany. But hey, they're lost.
No cayenne.
And then we'll go ahead and finish this up with a spoon of creme fraiche, or sour cream, or
No
yogurt.
creme fraiche, no sour cream.
And then last but not least, a nice splash of whole milk.
Okay, we're not following this
And believe it
recipe,
or
guys,
not,
okay?
that's
But
it.
I want you to take a look at that technique.
And once all that's together, we will take a whisk and mix this smooth, and then evaluate for consistency. Okay, because what we're looking for is a batter that sort of drips slowly off the whisk and not really run off the whisk. Okay, we don't want this too liquidy. So we will give it a mix and check it out. And you see how that's kind of pouring off quickly? Okay, so I think this is a little too thin. And to adjust that, we will simply add a little bit of flour. And conversely, if it's too thick, you'll add a little bit of milk. But anyway, we're going to stir in some more flour and check it out again. And now, as you can hopefully see, it's still dripping off the whisk, but much slower. Okay, so for me, that's looking very goot. And then once we've adjusted the texture until we think it's just right, let's go ahead and clean off that whisk with a spatula. And I'll go ahead and give you one more look.
So take a look at that consistency of the batter, okay? Take a look at that consistency. That's how we want it to be, okay? And that's the reason why, okay?
Look at the viscosity we're shooting for. Okay, so forget the exact measurements. You're going to have to adjust until you have something that looks like this. And then once the batter's set, we're going to need some kind of spatula making tool with which to push our batter through into our boiling water.
Again, if you don't have a spatula maker, you can use a colander in your house, the one you used to rinse out your veggies, or a cheese grater.
And while you could buy something specifically designed for this, you don't need to, because you probably already have one of these. Your standard cheese grater works perfectly for this operation. As long as the holes are at least this big, it's going to work great. And by the way, we're not going to use the side that grates the cheese. We're going to use the other side, also known as the smooth side. And how this works is we simply take some of our batter and transfer that onto our grater. And we use our spatula to push it through, which again is why we want to make sure we're using the smooth side. Okay, nobody wants grated rubber in their spatula. And that is it. A pretty simple technique. Except, of course, we're not going to do it back into the bowl. We're going to do that into some boiling salted water. But before we do that, let's do this. We want to first prep whatever sauce or substance our finished spatula are going to go into. And my personal favorite and very classic choice would be some toasted butter. So what we'll do is melt some butter over medium heat and simply cook it, swirling occasionally until that toasts to a nice golden brown. And yes, if you want to go darker, feel free. Or if you don't want it toasted and just want to melt the butter, that also works great. Okay, so how you finish this is going to be up to you. You are, after all, the Hansel and Gretel of your spatula.
Okay, so brown butter, guys, okay?
But anyway, you can see how far I toasted mine. And once that's set, assuming we've brought some salted water to a boil, we are ready to extrude our batter. So what we'll do is place our batter on top of our grater, a couple spoonfuls at a time.
But be careful because your spatula maker, the heat is going to start clogging up those holes because it's going to get cooked. The batter's going to get cooked, all right?
Oh, by the way, one way you can tell your texture was perfect, the batter won't drip through until you push it with a spatula. Okay,
That is
there's
right.
a very old German saying that I just made up. If it drips before you push, add some flour so you don't have mush. So not to brag, but this was looking just about perfect. And as you may notice, that's all sort of clumping together in one spot. And there's two reasons for that. One is I'm just looking at the viewfinder and not paying attention because I should be moving that grater around more as I'm dropping
And as it flows to the top, they are ready to go.
it in. But also I could have this boiling more furiously, but I didn't because it was fogging the lens. Having said that, it's not a problem because when we take the strainer and give it a stir, those will all separate beautifully. Which reminds me, these are considered done when they float to the top, which as you saw happens very quickly. So this really is a super fast recipe. And then once those are floating, what we'll do is take a strainer and simply transfer those into our melted butter or whatever sauce you happen to be using.
We're going to shock him in ice water, strain him, and pat him dry, okay?
And we'll repeat that very easy process until our batter's gone. And by the way, this was a very small batch I did, just using one egg. It's only enough for like 2 portions. But the good
So
news is
neat.
you can scale this up as much as you want. And if you are going to make larger quantities, you can totally do this step ahead and then just reheat these in the sauce when you're ready to serve. So something to keep in mind. But anyway, we'll continue on until our batter's been used up and all our spatula has been transferred to our pan, at which point we have a few options. Since everything's hot, we could just toss this and serve it. But personally, I like to put the heat back on medium and give these a little bit of a saute for a minute or two. Okay, I don't really brown them, although some people do. And that is a very nice way to go. But I'm just going to cook these in that hot butter for about a minute or so, just to give them a
That's
little bit
it.
of time to absorb that beautiful nutty flavor. And of course, as always, we definitely want to give it a taste to see if it needs a little pinch of salt.
And that's how spatulas are supposed to come out, okay? And they're going to come out like that, but you got to make the batter the right consistency. You got to have the water boiling. You got to have the brown butter ready to rock and roll, okay? Spatula. Any questions about spatula? Is that how you guys came out on foundations, Elijah, Annika?
No. Mine was like
No.
hard. It was like dry. It was really dry.
So we're going to saute them in brown butter almost to the end when everything's ready to go, okay? But we're going to make the batter, get them out of the way because we don't want to be messing with that stuff on the stovetop, okay? So spatula, okay? Spatula, spatula, spatula. What else? Cabbage roll. Again, you guys know about cabbage rolls, right? What else? Strudel, okay? And again, the strudel is the one that's going to give you the hardest challenge. So I'm going to pop this video. I'm going to fast forward it because we're not going to follow this lady's recipe, okay? We're going to skip all that blah, 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 okay? Just on the technique, if you want to follow this technique, all right?
This
Let me see. Here we go. Okay.
is the checkers game where grandson and granddad will bond. This is the kitchen.
Better in the fall. On a baking sheet, spread a little bit, but don't lose
Let me
your
go
shape.
back.
It's fall, so it's time to cook with apples. I always get really excited this time of year because even though you can have apples all year round, they really are seasonal and they're so much better in the fall. Today's recipe is apple strudel, and it's a very simple strudel using puff pastry for the dough instead of making strudel dough, which is time consuming. So you'll need 3 pounds of apples. You can use Gala or Fuji, which is an unusual apple to bake with, but they hold their shape really, really nicely. If you want to know more about how to choose an apple for any given dish, check out Thomas's video on Kitchen Conundrums on how to choose an apple. He'll tell you everything that you need to know. Cut your apples into thin slices right before you're ready to cook them so they don't discolor. There's no lemon juice in here to keep them from discoloring. And these apples are going to be pre-cooked so that everything comes together really quickly. So I'm going to saute these. Have a pretty large skillet available and melt 3 tablespoons of butter. You know what else is pretty cool about this recipe? There's only 5 ingredients in it. The apples have a great balance of sweetness and acidity, so you don't need any lemon juice. When your butter is melted, save 1 tablespoon. You're going to brush your pastry when you form your strudel, so just set that aside for a few minutes. Then add your apples to the pan, along with a half a teaspoon of cinnamon and half a cup of granulated sugar. I like this as an alternative to apple pie for Thanksgiving. I mean, not that you need an alternative, but this is actually quite a bit easier than making a traditional apple pie. And I'm all about making things that are delicious, but also really easy to accomplish so that you don't get stressed out. Cook your apples, stirring around every once in a while until they soften and break down just a little bit, but don't lose their shape, about 15 minutes. When the apples have cooked down, you need to cool them down. So what I like to do is put them on a baking sheet, spread them out as thinly as possible, let them cool a little bit first, and then you can put them in the refrigerator. It needs to cool completely, so you could do this a day or 2 in advance if you wanted to. Just once it was cool, transfer it to a container that's airtight so it doesn't get any weird flavors in the fridge. And then you can shape and form and bake your strudel. When your apples have chilled, you can assemble.
Yeah, so it's usually pastry press. I'm going to skip that, okay?
Take by 14. My hand span's about 8, so I usually just use that as a guide. I'm not.
So this is her dough.
particular.
Okay, take a look at her dough.
I don't know if you knew that about me. You don't want to have too much flour attached though, so dust it off as you're going along, but you'll need some, of course, so it doesn't stick, but you don't want to overdo it. This is looking good. Have ready a baking sheet, and you want to put this on your baking sheet and get it back into the refrigerator just to chill a little bit. Doesn't have to be for too long, just a few minutes. Here's the dough, chilled. Take your cooled apples and spread them over the center. You want to leave like a 1-inch border on either side and then fill the center with the apples. The apples really do need to be completely cool for this. Otherwise, they're just going to melt your puff pastry, which is full of butter, and that will not be pretty. It'll get all gummy and it won't bake up nicely. Leave 1 inch on either side. And then you just fold the dough in. Just fold one edge up. There's some flour on there. You can brush it off. A nice dry pastry brush is great for this. And then the second side, fold over the other side, making like a little envelope. Then what you do is you turn the whole package over. So this is going to get sealed as it bakes. So just go for it. Turn it over. You can fold the ends under just a little bit to seal it. And then for golden delightfulness, brush with that 1 tablespoon of butter that you reserved. And then make some slits in the top for the steam to escape while it's cooking. So 4 nice slits on the top. And then sprinkle with a little bit of sugar. About 2 tablespoons is plenty. Have your oven preheating to 400 degrees and bake until it's golden brown and bubbling, 35 to 40 minutes.
We're going to bake ours about 350 degrees, guys.
For like 10 minutes. You want to serve it warm. But you could rewarm it if you wanted to, and then slice and serve. If you really want to gild the lily, whisk together some confectioner's sugar and milk and drizzle it over the top as a glaze. But I don't think you're going to need to. I think you're going to love it just the way it is.
Apple strudel.
Smells like fall.
Any thoughts?
We're not using nuts, right?
You can.
Okay, I'm not.
Fine. So again, don't roll the dough too thick, and don't have too many layers of dough because it's not going to get baked all the way through. Okay, it's going to be underbaked. So that's your menu for Thursday. 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 Again, spatzel. You guys know all about it. Okay. So cabbage rolls, and then your strudel. Friday, we're going to Spanish cuisine. Okay. Let's take a look at Spain. A little brief history. Spain is a country on Europe's Iberian Peninsula, includes 17 autonomous regions with diverse geographic and cultures. Capital city Madrid, home to the Royal Palace of Prado Museum. Housing works with European masters. Segovia has medieval castles, the Alcazar, and an intact Roman aqueduct. Catalonia's capital, Barcelona, is defined by Antoni Gaudi's whimsical modernist landmarks like the Sagrada Family Church. Government debt is about 97.6 GDP as of 2018. Capital is Madrid. Population is about 46.5, almost 45 million people. The currency is a euro. Facts about Spain. Not all Spaniards are native speakers of the Castilian Spanish. 4 official languages of Spain: Castilian, Catalan, Basque, and Galician. The Basque is mostly like French. 3 unofficial regional languages: Austrian, Aragonese, and Aranese, and several more dialects. Spaniards have completely different life rhythm from other Europeans. They typically have lunch between 1 and 3, dinner around 10. Flamenco is not only a dance, it is a musical style which sometimes has dancing in it. 58 million tourists go to Spain every year, making it the 4th most visited country in the world. Spain has renowned for its lively festivals, including San Fermin, the running of the bulls, Pamplona, and Tomatina, tomato battle in Brno. What else? More than 150,000 tomatoes are usually thrown out of La Tomatina. Official name of Spain is Kingdom of Spain. The national anthem of Spain has no words. There are no laws about public nudity in Spain. If you want to go full Monty, go to Spain. 43% of the world's olive oil production is done in Spain. Spain won its first World Cup football title in 2010, which made the country the 8th country to have ever won. Tooth Fairy is a mere rodent in Spain, referred to as the Ratoncito Perez. A favorite of all the interesting facts about Spain: breaks, free time, and siestas are a huge part of everyday Spanish culture. Spain was the world's most third populous tourist destination of 2013 after France and the US. Traditionally, you have 2 surnames in Spain. The first surname from your father and the second one from your mother. Spaniards celebrate New Year by eating 1 grape with their family for each bell strike of the clock. The quill pen is thought to have originated in Spain around 1400 years ago. The Spanish often use gestures with or subtle for words, flicking the teeth with a thumbnail, wiggling fingers to the nose, and grabbing the left arm with the right while making the left hand their fist of all the right to be offensive. Madrid is a physical center of the country's, and Plaza Puerta del Sol is the exact center of the country. Spain has the 2nd highest number of bars per inhabitants. Do not be alarmed for a dirty floor in the bar. It's completely acceptable or normal to throw things on the ground on the bars. Most of the time, dirty floor means a good bar. Tortillas in Spain, and not the same tortillas elsewhere. Tortilla española, which you guys will be making on Thursday or Friday. Very popular egg and potato dish. Spaniards use the word tortillas to refer to flour corn tortillas. Okay. Most households buy fresh bread every day. Traditionally, long baguettes called barras or pistolas. Bread is presented and liquid almost every meal. Okay. Where I go? Hold on, buddy. Again, tomatoes, potatoes, and avocados and cacao were all imported from Europe and Spain. Spain is more famous for its red wine than white. The majority of vineyards have white grapes. Spain is one of the world's biggest producers of saffron, which you guys can get on your box. Important ingredients is paella. The family is the basis of the social structure, includes both the nuclear and extended families, which sometimes provides both social and financial support network. Majority of Spaniards are formerly Roman Catholic, although different religious beliefs are accepted. people that are often referred to as don or doña in the first name with formal locations. If invited to a Spaniard's home, you can bring chocolates, pastries, cakes, wine, liqueur, brandy, or flowers to the hostess. In business, face-to-face contacts preferred to written or telephone communication. Despite the beret being associated with France, the Basque and Northeast Spain invented it. It is not customary to tip in Spain, especially for cheap meals. Barcelona has 50 million visitors per year, while Madrid has only 6 or 7. Madrid-Barcelona route has the highest number of flights per week in the world. Spain has more than 8,000 beaches. The name Spain, derived from the word España, which means the land of rabbits. Spain, especially very fond of food. Famous saying is barriga llena, corazón contento, which translates to a full belly and a happy heart. What else? Spanish cuisine. Traditional Spanish cuisine is down to earth, uncomplicated food that is based on ingredients available to local of the crops grown originally. Mountains run through Spain for several directions, acting as a natural barriers to communications and making it transportation difficult until the last 20th century, when just one of the reasons why cooking refers so much to foreign region to region. Another fact, Spain has created an uniting many small kingdoms, each with their own traditions. Many dishes are prepared today using the same cooking methods and ingredients as they were 200 or 300 years ago. Like Romans and the Arabs, who conquered Spain over 400 years, made fabulous contributions to Spanish cuisine, and like their influence on the scene of the many recipes. Other dishes have sprung up from European and American influences and were adapted to the Spanish taste. One thing's for sure, food in Spain is fresh, abundant, and full of flavor, and the Spanish love their food dearly. Spanish cuisine ingredients, olive oil. In Spanish recipes, they call for olive oil or lard, and they use a copious amount of olive oil. Okay. Ham, as Spanish say, jamón is very prized food. Spanish take the ham very seriously and will pay a high price for top quality ham. There are two kinds, jamón serrano and ibérico in Spain. Fresh seafood, because Spain is located in the Iberian Peninsula, surrounded by 3 sides of water. Fresh seafood is always plentiful in the market. Spanish eat fish or shellfish daily. Everything from halibut to shrimp, and even octopus or baby eels are commonly in the market in the restaurant menus. Cheeses, wonderful cheeses of every type can be eaten in Spain. Spanish cheese are made from sheep, cow, or goat and mixed milks. Types range from aged cheeses such as Manchego from La Mancha to the soft, creamy cheeses such as Tetilla from the Castilla, and even between. There are blue cheeses that mature in limestone caves such as Cabrales. Cheese can be eaten as a tapa as well as during meals for dessert. Okay. Sausages. Spanish love sausage, especially the chorizo. Pork sausage made with paprika. Again, there are many types of chorizo, from fresh and soft to the smoke and aged. Every local market has variety. In Spanish, families often make their own in the winter and hang them to the cellar attic to dry. Preparation of spices of Spanish chorizo are very different from the chorizo we made in Mexico and the Caribbean. Beef, lamb, and pork, all 3 types of meat are common and can be roasted, grilled, or even coals, sauteed or in sauce. Generally, Spanish prefer veal or suckling lamb and pig. Roasted meats are popular dishes for holidays and festive occasions. Eggs eaten daily are either fried, the devil or Spanish omelet, called tortilla española in Spain, because we are going to be making that one. Okay. Chicken, very popular, spread over in every day, but mostly common is fried or stewed. Okay. Fruits and veggies. Spanish people eat lots of fruit and snacks on the last course of the meals. Legumes. Beans are all times eaten regularly. Beans, chickpeas, and garbanzo beans have been a staple of this peninsula for centuries, and rival bread as the most commonly eaten food. Most famous Spanish bean dish is probably the cocido madrileño, which is a classic garbanzo pork sausage noodle stew from Madrid. Of course, they have nuts, herbs, and spices. Okay. So here's the top 10 foods in Spain you must try. Gazpacho is a chilled cucumber tomato soup. Okay. Chill, not hot. And they make it in the summertime because it cools you down. Because in the summertime, the summers are so hot, they don't want to eat no hot food, so they make gazpacho. Paella. Okay, paella. The Valencia region, you can eat different rice dish every day of the year. Paella is like the jambalaya or arroz con pollo. Okay. Tortilla española. This is how your tortilla española should look like on Friday. Okay, should look like on Friday. Okay. Gambas al ajillo. I take garlic and shrimp. Tortas de tomate jamón. Okay, little black pigs from the home of tree. Black pigs roam among the home oak trees in the western Spain in search of acorns that give them marble or magneto iberico ham is extinct in nutty flavor. Rub 3 pieces of toast with garlic and tomato. Pour some olive oil on top with slices of jamon, or quite delicious for lunch. Oh yeah. Patatas bravas, spicy potatoes. Okay, perhaps the most amicus tapas, patatas bravas vary quite a bit around the country, but all versions include chunks of fried potato. Madrid Brava sauce has made the sweet, spicy pimenton, Spanish paprika. Okay, pollo al ajillo, chicken and garlic. Any Spaniard will tell you that the best garlic chicken ever is one of his grandmother or her grandmother makes. Of course, they're right. Unpeeled cloves of garlic are fried in olive oil to flavor it out. You take it out before adding a piece of chicken. When that's cooked, the garlic goes back with some rosemary, thyme, and some dry sherry, white wine. But there are no different recipes for this much loved dish. Cochinillo asado. People claim they have gone to Segovia to see this astounding Roman aqueduct, fairy tale castle, and an elegant cathedral, but really that's all just built up for the appetite for lunch. And the Segovia, that means either roast suckling or pig or lamb. The meat is cooked in a huge wood fire ovens, and it's so tender it's cut to the side of an earthenware plate. Pisto. The Spanish version of ratatouille turns up all over the country with different guises, but most typical of the towns or valleys across the plains of La Mancha, south of Madrid, onions, garlic, courgettes, peppers, tomatoes, and now slow fried in olive oil. This is not a dish that is like to be crushed, usually served with a starter, sometimes with fried egg, chorizo, but it's great on the side of the dish too. Turron. Spaniards devour massive amounts of turron, almond nougat, at Christmas. Although it is available all year round, most of it is made in a small town of Gijona on the province of Alicante, using locally grown almonds mixed with honey and egg white. There are 2 basic types, a soft, smooth version called Gijona and the hard Alicante rum, which contains pieces of almond. Okay, your menu for Friday. Tomato bread. You guys remember how to make bread, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tomato juice and water need to be at 90 to 110 degrees to activate the yeast. Write it down, guys. Double the amount of yeast on this bread. Double the amount of yeast on this bread. Why? Because tomato juice is heavier than water, and it also has cheese in this dough, which is heavier. Okay. Again, double the amount of yeast. When you bake it, it comes out like that. It's going to taste like pizza. Sofrito. Chopped everything up and saute it. Okay, that's it. Knife cuts. Roasted pork loin. Okay. Roasted pork loin. And then smoked tomato red pepper coulis. And last but not least, tortilla española. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 recipes on this day, guys. This day is going to be quite busy, which means be careful on the amount of dishes you create, because you got to go back there and wash them and clean them as you go. Do not let them pile up, and do not scrape any dirty pots and pans on the sink that we wash. Okay. My suggestion: get this dough going. Proof it. While it's proofing, naca de sofrito, all knife cuts. Okay. Go back, pan the bread, proof it again, and then take care of your pork. And then go back, bake the bread. While that bread is baking, we're going to take care of the tortilla española. Now, the challenge that I have for you guys, okay, hopefully you guys will have a little bit of fun, is how to make this menu tapas style. Tapas means cover, okay? And we're going to go into what it means. So basically, if you remember canapes in 201, that's what we're looking. Bite size on this menu, okay? Bite size. So here we go. I'm going to pop in this video and I'm going to pause it where it has a tortilla española, okay, guys? So you guys can take a look at how the tortilla española gets made, okay?
One distinctive
Here we go. Tapas. Hopefully this video will inspire you to create tapas.
To an American chef, and chances are they'll respond by thinking Spain. But say tapas to a Spaniard, and most likely they'll come back with Andalucía. So what are tapas? While the actual origins may be lost to history, many people believe the tapas custom actually originated right here in Andalucía. But what are tapas? And how did this tradition of tapeando begin? Going from bar to bar, catching up with friends, having a little bite of something delicious, and a glass of chilled fino sherry, or nowadays, more often beer, to wash it down. According to Enrique Becerra, owner of Becerra Restaurant and Tapas Bar in Sevilla, tapas began in aristocratic clubs in Sevilla where no drinks were served. Waiters were sent out for a glass of sherry to quench the noble thirst. Returned with a glass covered with a tapa, a lid, on which there might be a slice of delicious jamón ibérico or a slice of Andalucia's traditional goat's milk cheese.
The glasses of sherry wines come up with a paper for the dust of the street. But when the days of wind, the paper was flying. What made the people of the bar put on the paper bread and ham or cheese or chorizo?
Tapas might be as simple as a plate of almonds fried in the region's best olive oil, or a plate of green olives, or big red shrimp grilled a la plancha on the flat top. And any kind of fried fish is always welcome. Or the Spanish classic tortilla, a thick omelet packed with potatoes and onions, cooked in olive oil. Tapas are often self-contained dishes, and the way they are served will influence the recipe. Are they appetizers, snacks, finger food, canapes? Tapas are all of those and more, a model of the easygoing Andalusian way of life, and an example of the region's incredibly mixed background, and a great way to experience a lot of different flavors in one sitting, or standing, as they often do. The quintessential tapa, one that's offered just about everywhere, from the most down-home taverns to upscale bars in the sleek hotel lobbies, is simply called tortilla, not to be confused with Mexican tortillas. It is a sort of flat omelet made with potatoes and onions, richly fried in olive oil. Maria Garcia Morillo makes her tortilla in the classic way, starting with plenty of olive oil. In this case, she uses Castillo de Canena's own picual.
All right, Joe, Anika, Ileana, Michael, Lenaya, Kevin, Elijah, Kayla, Carlos, Beyonce, Jomar, Sergio, Kevin. This is your tortilla española. We are going to be using the non-Teflon, non-stick Teflon saute omelet pans for you guys on the hybrid, and they're going to be small. So be careful. Let me go back and rewind a little bit. This is how you make tortilla española, which is on the menu Friday, okay?
The classic way, starting with plenty of olive oil. In this case, she uses Castillo de Canena's own picual. She adds potatoes to the hot oil, then onions and a little salt, and cooks the vegetables together until they are thoroughly softened. 3 eggs are beaten together, and then the potatoes and onions, drained of their oil, are added to the egg mixture. Now a little fresh oil is added to the pan, then the eggs, and finally the moment of truth. It takes great dexterity to flip over this tortilla, but Maria has been doing it about once a day for many years. It is then cut in wedges for service. Indeed, some authorities claim it as the true height of Spanish.
There you go, tortilla española Friday. Okay, tortilla española Friday.
And Andalusian gastronomy. Tapas can also be avant-garde and modern.
It's my
At
favorite.
his restaurant A Poniente in Puerto de Santa Maria, Chef Angel Leon elevates the humble sardine, a worker's lunch staple. He grills it gently over a surprising combination of olive pits and pine cone scales that imbue the fish with their fragrant smoke as it's brought to table.
For this dish, we have marinated the sardine in olive oil, sherry vinegar, and salt only. We will finish the sardine by smoking it with these olive pits and pine cone scales. It will give us a very interesting layer of flavor when we smoke the sardine. So we take the roasted eggplant and we spread it over a slice of McGrevy bread. That is a bread that we prepare here, and it is olive oil based. Some salt, some oil. We place it here directly so that it can be taken into the dining room. The idea is not to smoke the product that much. The fishing industry tends to prepare their products with a very heavy flavor of smoke, and we are all very used to this, but the idea here is to have a very subtle flavor that seeps into the fat of the sardines and therefore have a pleasant flavor that lingers in your mouth.
At Restaurante Santo, in the heart of historic Sevilla, Chef Baltasar Diaz offers a tapa that is made from foie gras, smoked eel, and caramelized eggs, served with a cream cheese spread. Elegant, simple, and delicious. Chef Dani Garcia at Calima in Marbella serves a tapa that epitomizes the very function of tapas, and that it always sparks conversation. A playful and flavorful twist on caviar.
Of the form of the caviar is here. There is a very special truffle caviar. It's a black truffle caviar. And we put here. And then we have almond caviar, okay, with almonds. The white caviar, okay, and it's a very special joke. And the white caviar is almond. The black caviar is truffle. And the real caviar are a cream. And this is the Calima Rio Frio caviar.
Most people assume that tapas are small portion dishes, and in most cases that is true.
We serve tapas just at the bar.
But sometimes they are served as platters to be shared at the table, like at La Azotea in Sevilla.
Because we got a really small kitchen, at the tables we serve half plates or big plates. What we want, what we explain to the people and sit, they have to share. I mean, they don't have to share, but we suggest to share because it's more fun. And you know, that thing that share, let me try this, so we put the plate at the middle always.
Shared platters are not only a style of eating, but also a way of socializing. But remember that traditionally, these are small bites. Tapas don't take the place of a meal, and they're more like a way of being sociable before the real meal begins. A favorite tapa at Castillo de Canena is a ceviche of small raw shrimps with diced vegetables and apples. It's a simple dish of combining high-quality ingredients: diced red onion, sweet red pepper, and the tender, sweet little shrimps that come from just off the mouth of the Guadalquivir River. Larger shrimps could be used, cut into smaller pieces, but they must be as fresh as possible, not frozen.
In olive oil.
Maria adds minced cilantro and minced chives, and finely grated ginger for an unusual touch, along with salt, ground cumin, and a mere whisper of cayenne. Freshly squeezed lime juice, and a healthy dose of diced fresh apple. And it all gets stirred together, piled into a cocktail glass. And finally, a good dose of Castillo de Canena's Arbequina olive oil. At Malaga's Michelin-starred Café de Paris, José Carlos García prepares a hard-shell clam called concha fina, which, the chef says, is very commonly served as a tapa in bars all over Malaga. It's prepared very simply, in order to preserve and savor the fresh flavor of raw clams.
So the first thing we do in order to open the clam is scare it. We scare the clam by giving it a couple of gentle knocks on each side of the shell, so the muscle contracts. And then we cut it in half. We have 2 even sides. This is the first step. So let's knock it and quickly cut it in half. So now we have to cut. There is a muscle on each side, and we have to cut both of them out of the shell. So this part here is the only part we don't need. All we're going to do is add a couple of drops of lime, a little bit of pepper, and we will pair it with a cocktail, but not a regular one. It is a cocktail prepared with a very innovative and contemporary technique. We have mixed tequila, lime, and triple sec, and a little bit of soy lecithin. And with the aerator, we will incorporate air to form a light foam. Usually, this is drunk as a liquid, but we will be serving it instead on top of our clam. This dish is meant to be eaten with your hands, from hand to mouth. And once again, you can see how we have used contemporary modern techniques with a traditional local preparation.
At Restaurante Choco in Córdoba, Quisco Garcia makes a similar statement with a single oyster. This too is a dish that is served as a tapa.
We take the oyster and marinate it in a little bit of pepper, soy sauce, and vinegar from Montilla for just a bit, 5-6 seconds at the most, just so it acquires the flavors without overpowering it. A contrast that we really like is a lemon peel candied that we have placed right here. And now my favorite part. This is the oyster's own water from its shell. And a little bit of soup or consomme made with Iberico ham. It is very strange when you put it in your mouth because you can get the briny notes of the oyster and the salty ones of the ham that strangely complement each other, bringing out really interesting flavors in the oyster. We also place a little bit of the water from the oyster, which we have aerated with a turbo mix. Got these oysters with an Iberico ham broth and cured lemon.
This dish would be especially delicious with a glass of dark and fragrant Oloroso sherry to contrast with the briny directness of the oyster. One distinctive contribution to tapas gastronomy comes from Granada. Local food writer Pablo Amate explained that in Granada, the idea of a free tapa with each drink still holds true, and the tapas are often very elaborate indeed. Granada may be the last place in the world where food comes free with drinks, but it's a most welcome tradition. 1, 2, 3 drinks, each with a different tapa. And then it's time to move on to the next lively scene. 1 tapa per person and a different one with each drink. Then everyone enjoys tasting and sharing. The idea is to keep moving. Stop at this bar for a plate of coquines, tiny clams with equally tiny artichokes. Go on to another bar to taste the boquerones en vinagre, white anchovies marinated in aged sherry wine vinegar, garlic and parsley. In other parts of Andalusia, you have to pay for your tapas, but you'll still find it a great way to dine out without spending a lot of money. One important piece of the puzzle. Tapas are definitely, and above all else, a social occasion. No one ever goes out for tapas on their own, unless they expect to discover a collection of similar-minded friends. Enrique Becerra explains another important aspect. 1 tapa never suffices, and 1 bar for tapas seldom suffices either.
The action of change of bar, change of company, talking with the friends, with the family. Normally, when in Seville we say, we are going to tapeo. It's a minimum of 3 or 4 bars. And each bar has its own specialties. We will start normally with the bars of seafood and charcuterie. Later, we change for a bar of fried fish. And the last bar is normally the bar of a restaurant because we finish with the cooking tapas and a small desserts.
Americans may be captivated by tapas, and we have adopted them with enthusiasm. Many American restaurants have discovered that putting 4 or 5 tapas on a menu, maybe even featuring them as a mini tasting menu, is a great way to satisfy loyal customers.
So tapas, tapa style. So think about Friday, how are we going to deconstruct the menu and make it into tapas? Again, that day is busy, guys. So come prepare Friday. Come really prepare Friday, guys, because we're going to be hitting the ground running, okay? So again, we have, 5-6 recipes that day. We have your tomato bread. That's 1. First things come in and knock out the tomato bread. dough, get it going. Second, sofrito, go back to the tomato bread, and then do the pork, go back, bake tomato bread, and then start working on the pepper coulis and tortilla española. The two items that are going to take you the longest to make is your tomato coulis and your bread. So come prepared, guys, for those two, that challenge on Friday, okay? Any thoughts about Friday's menu? Saturday, yes, we do have class Saturday, remember that, okay? Saturday is French cuisine, and then Tuesday and Wednesday, the following week, is Italian cuisine. So Saturday, French cuisine, okay? Let's go take a look at France, okay? Some facts about France. It's one of the most popular tourist destinations. 2016, the country had 82.6 million international visitors, which was 7 million more than about both US and Spain. The main attractions, of course, is Paris and Disney, but also French Riviera, Alsace, and the lovely wine regions. Most time zones in the world. You know that France has 12 different time zones. At first, might sound like shocking, but if you think about it, it's not as strange since the French have colonized a big part of the world. With the French territory in Europe, only one time zone is being used. But accounting all areas outside Europe, it stretches over 12 different time zones. These areas include Martinique, Guadeloupe, French Polynesia, French Guiana, region of New Caledonia. Okay, several famous inventions of France. Among the many inventors, some of the notable ones are the hot air balloon, pasteurizer, stethoscope, the parachute. Each of these has changed the world. In recent years, there's been a particularly famous French invention, namely the cell phone and cell phone camera, which was first developed by Philip Kahn back in 1997. And that's how long the cell phone camera was invented. More than half the world's roundabouts are in France. Pretty funny about the France, at least for the then Sweden, they also have many roundabouts. However, the roundabouts have been taking a few steps further with more than 30,000 rounds in total, which represents little more than half the world's roundabouts. France is the first country who forbade supermarkets to throw away burnt, unsold food. Back in 2016, historical decision was made where France became the first country in the world to ban supermarkets and food stores from throwing away burnt, unsold food. From now on, all remainder food must be donated. Okay. The guillotine was the official execution method until the death penalty was abolished. Off with the head. Guillotine was introduced as the official way to execute people back in 1792. Simple way that also let people watch offenders get their punishment. Luckily, the death penalty was abolished in 1981. Long time running. Louis the 21st was the king for 20 minutes. The shortest period king or queen has ever reigned over the country was Louis the 21st. Technically could claim himself as a king of France. It took 20 minutes before he abdicated the throne and never really ruled the country. Number 8, the biggest country in the European Union. If you measure the Atlantic area, France is the biggest country in the European Union and the second biggest country in Europe if you don't count Russia. Ukraine is bigger, but it's become the member of the European Union, and majority of Russia is located in Asia. In France, it's possible to marry a dead person. In France, it is possible to marry a dead person. In the 50s, it was decided that it should be allowed to marry a dead person under special circumstances. One needs to prove that there were already plans of getting married. It also sent a formal request to the president. The one who marries a dead person should not inherit the family or deceased of the deceased and must be approved a marriage as well too. Must approve the marriage as well too. Okay. What else? Yeah, number 10 too. French cuisine consists of cooking, traditions and practices of France. French developed throughout the countries, including the many surrounding cultures of Spain, Italy, Switzerland, Germany, and Belgium. In addition to its own tradition, not only the western coastline to the Atlantic, the Channel and the Corse Island, the 14th century, the Guillaume, Terrell, and the court chef known as Taliban, Roy Levandier, that should be taught in foundations. French cuisine was made important in the 20th century by Auguste Escoffier. Okay. What else? Here are the grandfathers of French cuisine. The Polish wife of Louis the what is it, 15 of France, by top left. Queen Marie Lesquezenza influenced French cuisine on the left as Marie Antoinette Carême. So, and of course we got Paul Bocuse and we got Escoffier. Marie Antoinette Carême is the guy on the right hand side. Okay. What else? Top 10 French foods you should try. Soup à la onion soup, French onion soup. Traditional French onion soup made with onions and beef stock, usually served with croutons and melted cheese on top. Dating back to Roman times, this is traditionally a peasant dish. Although the current version dates back to the 18th century, the soup's unique flavor comes from the caramelized onions, which often have brandy or sherry added to them. And the slow cooking process. If you're up at the soup, you should try Marcel's traditional soup de poisson reloury, once a fisherman's favorite. This soup is characterized by a dollop of garlic, saffron, mayonnaise placed on top. Coq au vin. You guys remember coq au vin too, right? Foundations, chicken cooked in red wine. Okay. Cassoulet. Oh, one of my favorites. Cassoulet is a comfort dish with white beans stewed only slowly with meat. The dish typically uses pork or duck, but can be included sausages, goose, mutton, whatever else the chef has lying around. Peasant dish originates from the southern France and popular in Toulouse, Carcassonne, and Castelnau. The name of the dish comes from the pot casserole that is traditionally baked in. This spot is a staple in many French homes, highlighting the popularity of this rich, hearty meal that is perfect for those cold months. Beef bourguignon. We used to have this in foundations too. It's the coq au vin, beef cooked in red wine. Chocolate souffle. We used to have this one in 201 as well. Prior to the pandemic. Flamiche means cake in Flemish, and this dish originates from northern France near the border of Belgium. Has a puff pastry crust filled with cheese and vegetables. Resembles a quiche, traditional filling leaks of cream, although various exist. So it's a lot like pizza version of Flamiche, which comes without top crust or pie. For a southern French twist, try the crusty pizza there. Okay. Confit de canard, duck cooked in its own fat. Oh man, it's so delicious. Salad niçoise, which we are going to be making on this day on Saturday. Okay. Ratatouille is not an Italian dish. Okay. Not just a lovable cartoon about a friendly rat. Ratatouille is also one of France's most iconic dishes from Provence. The dish sees vegetables shallow fried and then layered with casserole dish before being baked in an oven. French chefs have been debating whether vegetables need cooking beforehand for centuries, but however you prepare it, result is still great. Traditional peasant dish can be a side dish, appetizer, or main course, and tastes great with red wine and fresh crusty bread. Tarte tatin, the upside down apple pie. According to culinary legend, tarte tatin started as a life of mistake. In 1898, hotelier Stephanie Tatin was making traditional apple pie when she accidentally let the apples cook in sugar and butter for too long. In a hurry to rescue the dessert, she put the pastry base on top of the burning fruit and put it in the oven. She supposedly served the upside down tart to her guests in the Hotel Tatin, and the result turned into the hotel's signature dish. We can still take this excellent mistake today. Upside down apple pie. Your menu for Saturday, guys. It is salad niçoise. Okay. As you can see, it has hard-boiled eggs, cooked potatoes, blanched green beans, olives, tomatoes, vinaigrette, and lettuce, and tuna. Okay. I prefer tuna, but the ahi tuna, but they give us canned tuna instead. You know, nice storage, right? It's supposed to be Sierra Rare tuna, not canned tuna. Mushroom and leek tart. This is delicious, guys. This is, man, this is the bomb. Okay, bomb diggity. What else? And baguette. So you got 3 recipes on this day. Okay, not that bad, right? But the salad does have a lot of ingredients, a lot of knife cuts. Potatoes got to get cooked. Eggs got to get hard-boiled egg. The beans have to be blanched. Okay. Your mushroom and leek tart. You're going to make the pâte brisée that day. Roll it. Put it in a pie tin. Do your knife cuts of your mushrooms, leeks. Cook your leeks, your mushrooms. Add the heavy cream. Season it. Put the mixture inside the raw pie dough. top it with cheese, and it goes in the oven. When it comes out, you're not going to be able to cut it and present it. You may make little ones if you wish to, okay, in a muffin tins, but you're not going to be able to cut and present it because it's going to ooze out, okay? And again, this is the one that's going to take you the most time to make, the mushroom and leek tart. And you guys know baguette, right? Easy does it. Any questions about this week's menus? Anyone? Anyone? Questions? Joe? Ileana? Michael? Kayla?
Not right now, Chef.
Lanaya? Annika? Mr. B? Elijah? Carlos? Beyonce? Sergio? Kevin? Jamar? Any questions?
No questions, Chef.
It's a busy week. It's a busy week, guys. Come prepared. Come prepared. What's on the screen, guys?
The production sheet, Chef.
Production sheet.
See the chimichurri?
Hey Joe, can you mute yourself, please?
See the chimichurri? The strudel, empanada, French fries. That's tomorrow's production sheet.
Hey Chef.
Yes.
We also have Nutella if we want, if you want for the empanadas, if you want to do peanut butter and Nutella, just
Sure.
to let you know.
Okay. You guys can play with the Nutella. You guys want some empanadas, right? Oh yeah. Some toast. That's on Wednesday, Thursday. There's a spatula batter. Same one you guys made in foundations. If you can't get it, don't get it. Go back to your foundations, production sheet, pull it out, okay? That's Friday. Busy, busy day. Tomato bread, 2 times the yeast, pork, smoked tomato coulis, sofrito, tortilla española. That's the one for Friday. Got it? Saturday. That's Saturday's production sheet. Any questions of what's coming up?
No, Chef, all good on my end.
And you got my notes right on the items that we need?
Yes, Chef.
All right. Now, if no sherry wine, sherry vinegar could do well too, okay? And I think we have a gallon somewhere in K3 and K4 of sherry vinegar somewhere in the spice rack. Not on the K3, but between those two kitchens. There might be a gallon of sherry vinegar. So that's what we have this week. Any questions? Any thoughts?
What kind of vinegar? I'm sorry.
Sherry.
Oh yeah, we have 2 jugs of it in the storeroom.
Okay. Yeah, because we need it, and it was on the shopping list. Mr. Kevin B.
Yes, chef.
So take a look at your shopping list versus your recipes. And I can tell you right off the top that the shopping list is missing several ingredients. Missing how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Your shopping list does not have, okay? Any questions, guys? Any thoughts?
Chef,
Yes.
a couple of weeks ago, we did a pie dough. Is that intended for the apple strudel?
No.
Different.
I just put my production sheet up on the screen for the strudel dough. So guys, all I can say is this week it's tomorrow is not as hard, but then it picks up the pace on Thursday. You saw what's coming Thursday, Friday. Friday's one heck of a day, guys. Okay, one heck of a day with Spain. We're gonna deconstruct the menu and present it tapas style. So do some more research about tapas and how you're gonna deconstruct the menu. Still do the recipes, but how you're gonna present it tapas style. Okay, I know Elijah, Nika, you're gonna get your wheel spinning, right? So.
Correct.
All right, get your wheel spinning, start bouncing some ideas, guys, about tapa style on Friday, okay? Any comments, questions, concerned issues? I can hear crickets.
All good, chef. Tried it.
All right, guys, be ready for tomorrow. Kayla, your box is in there. I don't know if you picked it up or not yet, but I labeled it. Did you pick it up?
No, chef, I'm going in the morning.
Okay. Lanaya, your box is in there. Did you pick it up yet? No? How about Mr. Jenkins? Did you pick up your box yet?
Yeah, I just got it right now.
All right, cool.
Thank
All
you.
right, guys. All right, guys. So we'll see you tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. Come ready because, man, we're going to pick up the pace. Okay. Got it?
Heard, chef.
All right. See you guys
Heard,
tomorrow.
chef.
All right, chef. Thank
Good
you.
day, chef.